everybody. It's Suzanne Spooner, QHHT Level 3 practitioner in Des Moines, Iowa. All right, I already have another session for you. I don't usually try to put things out so quickly in succession, but this one's too good. And I want you guys to listen to it and have fun with it. So there's some backstory to this session. I think I'm calling it a life as a beacon of light. And that's not his other life, his past life that he visited in a session. It's his current life. He is a beacon of light, which is a lot for him to wrap his head around. So let me give you some backstory on Mike or Michael. So Mike became friends with one of my friends, Bill Homan, the caretaker for the Mitchell Hedges Crystal Skull, and is in Bill's community. And Bill and his beautiful fiance, Catherine, had been on one of my and Sarah Breastman Cosme's trips to Egypt recently. In this past May, they were there. And so Bill must have been talking about that trip to Egypt and how awesome it was. And Mike reached out to me and he wanted to sign up for next year for their trip. So that's how he and I became acquainted. And some things shifted with the trip that he signed up with. And he wanted to move to September of next year. So we're working with that and getting all of that done. And he started sharing with me that he travels around a lot. He's not really planted in one place, but he had decided to learn how to do QHHT, had taken the class. And his very first session was on a friend of his, Molly, who had terminal cancer. So pretty big first session to have. The expectation, of course, was to heal Molly of the cancer that was in her extremities, lower parts of her body. And the session went great. And her high self said, it's healed, it's all good and great. Well, lo and behold, a while later, he is assisting her and takes her in to the doctor, I think for something not cancer related. I can't remember now, but anyways, the doctor is a new doctor because they're in a different part of the country. And he decides to do a scan of her brain, which her doctors hadn't done for a long, long time. They do the scan and there's tumors throughout her brain. So this is not good. And Mike was calling me because he's like, what the heck? What didn't I ask correctly? How did I mess up that session? He's feeling a lot of sadness and guilt over that. What could he have done better, right? So as he and I are talking about that, and I get off the phone with him, I took a cancellation for November 14th, just yesterday from this recording. And whenever that happens, at first I'm like, oh, that's weird. I wonder why I took that cancellation. And I'm like, oh, who was the last person I talked to? And if it's somebody that has a session scheduled with me, he did have a session scheduled with me, but it was for 2026, I think. It makes me always wonder, well, maybe this one's supposed to come in sooner. And that timing of the sessions is always so interesting. That many, many times when I'm giving sessions, the high selves love to talk about how, one said, you think you're in charge of your schedule, Suzanne, and the client thinks they're in charge of their schedule. We're in charge of the schedule, the high selves. So I'm trying to be a better student of that and understand the synchronicities of these situations. So I call Mike. He's on the East Coast at that time visiting family. And I said, hey, weird, but anyway, you could be in Des Moines on November 14th. And he's like, heck yeah, I'll drive. I'm like, okay, well, see you November 14th. So I'm really excited because he's going to be in Egypt and he's a brand new practitioner and he seems just like a really nice person. And I'm excited to meet him in person, see where this session goes. So when he walks into my office that I've had for 10 years, let me tell you about this office. It's in a former Masonic temple. It's only was a Masonic temple for 1 year. Um, but it has some mojo in it. Now it's the Temple for the Performing Arts in Des Moines, and we have the Des Moines Symphony and the Children's Symphony, we have a ballroom, a playhouse, some a great restaurant, a couple restaurants actually in the building. So it's a great place. But in my office for the past 10 years, ever since I rented it, I have multiple light fixtures up on the ceiling, and each light fixture has 2 light bulbs in it. No big deal. But always this one light fixture, which is over where the client sits when we are doing our talk before the hypnosis portion, our interview. There's always one light bulb that has never worked, ever, 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 ever. It's not a big deal. It's just one light bulb out of several. So it's been fine. I just have one light that doesn't work. But Mike walks under it and I'm noticing a flicker and I look up and that light bulb is flickering on and off, and then it just turns on. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. This light bulb has never worked and now it does. So I'm thinking, interesting session, I think, is coming. So interesting. So anyways, he tells me his life story. It's flipping amazing. He's had so many experiences. One, he had just moved out to Phoenix, and almost immediately after he got out there was the phenomena that we know as the Phoenix lights. He was working, he came out of where he was working at, looked up, and there's the Phoenix lights. If you haven't seen this or heard about it, it's worth looking up. There's some videos of these lights, UFOs that are over Phoenix. They stayed there for about 20 minutes. And then he says they moved up towards Sedona and Flagstaff and beyond. That's the story of the Phoenix lights. But he witnessed it, and that was really cool. And he had a question about that. He had a really interesting ayahuasca experience in Sedona and had a lot of questions about that. He's had many experiences. He's had an interesting life. So, and then we had Molly. He had questions about what the heck happened with the session with Molly. It kind of, I don't know, probably made him think that maybe he didn't want to do this because he, felt as if he didn't do it right. Now we know everything happens for a reason in the sessions the way that they do, and we just don't always understand it. So we wanted some clarity on that. So that is this session, a life as a beacon of light, turning on my light bulbs. I can't wait to get back down to my office. I'm going to see if that light bulb is still working or not. One other really interesting frequency energy thing happened in his session. I always record on 2 devices because I'm just always worried that one device is not going to work and I won't have the recording for the client. And a few things have happened over the years that have led me to get 2 devices. So I record on one very professional recorder device. And then I always use an app on my phone called iRecorder Pro, and that's my backup. I almost never have to send that one to the client, but I have it on backup. So on that one, I start recording from the very beginning, from the induction. This is not one going to the client, and I can edit that induction out because I never send that to the client. That's copyrighted material. But this recording I started at the induction, and there's huge interference on it. It comes and goes, it comes and goes. I'm watching the level of frequency on the recording as it's recording, and it's very, very big, then very, very little, and you can hear me and him talking, very, very big, very, very little. You can hear us talking, but in between, when that frequency is really high, it sounds like I'm taking the microphone and doing this to it, but I'm not. See some ordinary things, help your. It's just sitting there. Nothing is touching it. So I'm watching that and I'm like, that's really weird. I hope the other recording device is picking up fine. It appears to be. So we get all the way done with the session. It was amazing. You're about to hear it. And afterwards, he and I are just talking. I have the recording devices turned off at this point. We're just going over some of the session. And I look down and I'm watching the app on my phone, still in that recording app, open to that. And it turns on by itself and records for 9 seconds. And I'm watching this, he's talking, and I don't want to say, oh my gosh, something really weird just happened here. I'm like, okay, it's just a day of weird things. But I watch, and it's in that really high frequency band again for 9 seconds, and then it turns itself off. So I don't say anything to him about that. I just, we've got a lot to talk about with this session. I come home and I'm like, oh yeah, that recording, that's so wild. So I open up my phone and look at that app, and the 9-second recording is no longer there. It's just the main recording with the induction. And it's wild. I currently have my producer who does these clips for me, Joe, the producer, looking at that to see what he can figure out about it, just out of curiosity. It's no big deal. But anyways, it's a wild, juicy session. I can't wait to get this guy to Egypt. There's a lot of information about that trip and the group that's going over there, which is fabulous, because every group, people just sign up like, I want to go. I think it's something I need to do. But what everybody realizes really quickly once we get to Egypt is that it's a reunion. Everybody who's meant to be there is there. So if you are listening to this and you're thinking, gosh, maybe I should be in that September group, we still have a few openings. So if you're filling the poll, go sign up. It's going to fill up. And I can't remember how many openings we have, maybe a handful left. So anyways, come hang out with Mike. And apparently there's something pretty phenomenal that's going to happen in the King's Chamber at the end of the trip with Mike, or with the group, with the energy. This is what we find out in this session. All right, that's all I have for you. If you want to check out the Egypt trips, ancientlifetimes.com is that website. My website, SuzanneSpooner.com. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye. What's the very first thing that you notice?
Still sitting on the cloud.
Say a little louder.
I'm still sitting on the cloud, trying to kill off.
That's okay. What is it like to sit on the cloud?
It's just comfortable.
Yeah. What do you notice as you sit on that cloud?
See other layers of clouds. This is just a thick layer of clouds, not a single cloud.
Nice. And what do you decide to do next?
And try and slide through the cloud. Slide down.
Do you feel like you're on your own there? Are there others?
I'm on my own.
What else do you notice around you?
As I came through the clouds, there's just empty space. It's not, I don't see a ground.
Do you get a sense of yourself? Do you have form? Or are you formless?
I don't. I don't see anything at the moment. Caves. Now that I came through the clouds, I don't see anything.
How does it feel to be in that space?
It feels good.
Can you move around those clouds if you want to, or do you stay in one place?
I can move around.
What is it like when you do that?
The more I'm trying to move, the less I'm going anywhere.
What else do you notice around you?
Nothingness.
Nothingness. Oh. Describe the nothingness to me the best you can.
It's not dark. It's not light. It feels like a big open void. I'm just here.
Just there. Do you get a sense of what you do while you're just there?
I don't think I do anything. I'm just here. It just feels good to just be here.
Yeah, nothing you really have to do at all.
Nothing.
Nice.
Just simply be here.
What else do you notice while you're in that amazing space?
Feel like I'm like there is no body. I'm trying to see.
How do you
Something.
perceive yourself? What's the first thought that comes to mind?
Perceive myself?
Yeah. Do you formlessness or form, light?
No form. There's a light. It's a lightness. It's like I don't know, I have a hard time describing.
Do you feel small or do you feel vast? Or do you have a sense like that at all?
I feel vast.
Feel vast.
I don't feel like a tiny single piece.
And you said it feels like a place to just be? Is that right?
I don't know if I would even describe it as a place. It's just I am.
Sounds beautiful.
Feels pretty cool.
I bet. And I think I asked this, but you feel like there's others there, or this is just a space for you to be?
It doesn't feel like there's anyone here.
Do you get a sense, does it feel like you've been there a long time or a short time?
Feels like someplace I never left.
Never left. Wow. Okay. Anything else that you notice going on around you?
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Oh.
Oh, tell me about the dolphins.
I just felt like they were in the back corner of my eye.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a quick... They were there swimming in a wave of light.
Oh my goodness. Are they aware of you?
I think so.
And can you communicate with them or them with you?
Yeah. Yes.
And tell me what that's
We're not
like.
talking to each other. You just asked that, and I thought of them, and they looked at me. So it feels like there's a communication. And then they kept swimming.
Do you feel like you're swimming with them?
No, I feel like they're swimming in me.
Oh, and the communication with them, tell me what that is like.
It feels like just joy. Like they seem so happy swimming. And I feel so happy that they're swimming in it.
And as they're coming closer, what else do you notice about them?
They look like light. Like not like... Not like a regular dolphin. They look like dolphins made of light.
Oh my goodness.
And as soon as I just said that, they jumped up and jumped back in. There's two of them.
Two of them. Does their presence with you, does that change or affect you in any way?
No, just like happiness. Doesn't feel one way or the other. They're just in there. They seem to be mostly on this left side.
Tell me more.
Of my head.
And what's happening
More
now?
so my physical head. They went under. Can't see them yet.
Okay. Do you sense
But I
they're
know
still
they're
there?
there. Oh, yeah. I feel like they're trying to play with my left brain.
Oh.
They'll try and get me to go.
You're doing really good. What do you notice next?
Mm. Now I see the crystal skull.
You see what?
The crystal skull.
Oh. Tell me all about seeing the crystal skull.
I see its eyes peering at me.
Mm-hmm.
And those... the dolphins are from their cheeks.
Oh, in the skull?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to get my left brain gone.
And as the crystal skull looks at you, what do you notice then?
It's pissed off. I'm not fully letting go.
Oh.
It's giving me a look.
What was the look about?
To surrender.
Oh. And what do you do with that?
I fight it.
No.
That's just me.
And what happens when you fight it?
We're both feeling a little frustrated.
Yeah. And what happens when you just surrender?
I'll let you know when I get there.
Yeah. So do you decide to surrender to it?
Yes.
And then what do you notice?
Oh, the dolphins are out playing again.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, they're starting to swim on the right side of me.
And is the skull still there?
Oh, it faded away and the dolphins jumped back on.
Nice. Are the dolphins the same as they were, or have they changed in any way?
They're a little more solid. They seem to be in the right front section of just where my attention is at.
Nice. What else do you notice in that amazing space?
You still see the dolphins and you see their tails, so they're in there trying to do something. Because they haven't surfaced back up yet, I just see their tails.
And so what do you do next?
Trying to let them in.
Say that again?
Trying to let them in.
Oh.
It's never been easy for me the first time to just let it happen.
Yeah. When you do that, what do you notice?
It tickles.
Okay. Anything else going on there that you want to mention?
It's starting to get a little. The void is kind of back.
Yeah. Any other thoughts that you have on the void?
Oh, it's getting bigger.
It's an amazing place to be. Let's do this. Let's leave that scene you're looking at. Let's drift and float to an important day in that experience. Drifting and floating to a time when something important is happening. And now you're there. And what do you notice now?
Mm. Darkness. That's all I'm seeing.
The darkness.
Just seeing darkness.
And how does it feel to be in that darkness?
Frustrating.
Oh. You're doing really, really well. What else do you notice? Do you still perceive yourself in that vast state, or has that changed?
It's definitely still there. I'm trying just to sit in it and see if something appears to me. Something seems to be blocking me from...
Say that again?
Something seems to be blocking me from trying to perceive something.
If you weren't being blocked, what would you be perceiving?
That's a great question.
It's the first thought that comes to mind.
Where the dolphins go.
They were amazing companions, weren't they?
Yeah.
You said there were two of them?
There were two of them, yes.
And their
I'm
forms.
trying to see them. There.
It's okay. Maybe they already brought to you what you need.
Maybe.
All right, well, let's do this. We're going to leave that scene. We're going to drift and float to another important experience, another time where there's something important happening, and now you're there. And what's your first thought about what there could be?
First thought is... why am I making this so difficult on myself?
Just go with your very first thoughts. Are right there. You don't have to make anything difficult.
Well, that's my first thought.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
something is...
let me ask a question then, okay?
please.
Why does he make it so difficult for himself?
He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what we're really trying to do.
Well, tell him, what doesn't he understand?
That we're always there. And he's always taken care of. He knows it, but he doesn't fully pay attention.
Yeah, but he really wants to understand today. Why did you show him that experience of being in the void, just being? Why was that important for him to experience?
So he knows he's part of everything.
That he's a part of everything?
Mm-hmm.
And the Dolphins of Light, why was that brought forward for him?
All the Dolphins are his friends. They've always been his friends. He's been one with dolphins and whales for a long time.
He was one?
No. He was friends with the dolphins and the whales.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he has a question about that. Well, he even spent space with the crystal skull there in that vast void. What's important for him to know about that?
Skull was just trying to get him to let go. Skull seems to be a friend as well. He's still fighting it.
What's
He
important?
came in with expectations.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
He came in with expectations.
Okay. What do you want him to know about that?
Knock it off.
Okay. When he knocks it off, then what will he know?
He could have the answers to everything he's looking for.
Oh, I think he'd enjoy that.
He would. He's laughing because he knows he would too, but he's got a good grip on this.
Yeah, well, we're going to give him a lot to ponder over today, won't we?
Yeah.
What else do you want him to understand about that void and his vastness in it and what he experienced?
You can always call upon it. He's always part of it. It's always there. And whenever he finally fully lets go, he can have as much as he wants. He doesn't know how to let go. With a lot of things.
Well, I was going to ask, how does that relate to his current life?
He held on to so many things. Even the women. He tries. It's never good. So just let it all go.
What else could help him in that experience?
Let go of every number. Let go of every picture. Release them all. We don't need them anymore. There's no point. He knows it. He let go of some, but there was backup.
But there's what?
Backup.
Oh, tell him about the backup.
No, he knows it's there. He just thinks that he got rid of some of it, so the backup's okay. Yeah, he doesn't need it. He needs to let it go and erase it all.
How does he best let it go?
Delete it. Delete it all.
Can you help him with that?
We've always tried.
Yeah. When he lets it go, what will be different for him in his life?
Yeah. It'll open up the space for someone else to come in.
I think he'd like that, don't you?
He would. He would definitely like that.
You're saying it's good for him to first let go of that old stuff?
Of course.
Yeah.
He's afraid to let it all go.
Why is that, do you think?
He's trying to make sure I don't answer.
Oh, we want you to answer. We want
This is where the fight is happening.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't need to fight at all. Just let all the information come through to help him in his highest and best way. Well, as you know, he came into this session with an amazing list of questions. He's had such amazing experiences in his lifetime that we want to get through. Would it be okay if I started in on that list?
Yes.
Okay. Would it be appropriate to ask for a scan of his body, please?
Yes.
All right. Please start scanning his body. Tell me where you are focusing on within his body for healing and repair. And we do expect full and complete healing today. Where are you looking at first?
Heart.
Where?
Heart.
Heart. Okay. And what do you see going on with his heart?
It's fine right now.
What brought your attention to it?
Feeling a future.
Oh, tell us more about that.
His family has heart issues.
Right.
Always have.
Is there any reason he needs to experience that as well?
No.
Okay. So he doesn't need to carry that on?
No. 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 He's trying to step in.
He's trying what?
He's trying to step in and mess with me.
Yeah, that's okay. So that heart is looking well and he doesn't need to worry about the future with it?
Correct.
What can he do to keep the heart healthy as he moves forward?
Exercise. Less stress. Which is how life is for him.
Okay.
So keep that up.
But he doesn't need to follow the path of his other family members with that?
No, he's having a hard time believing everything I'm saying right now.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so heart's looking good. Is there anything that needs to be done to help strengthen or support it?
No, it feels like it's strengthening as we're talking about it.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Where else in the body is requesting healing?
Belly.
Okay, and what do you see going on in the belly?
Fear. Fear. Is fear.
Fear, okay. And where does the fear originate from?
We're trying to say a past life, and he's trying to fight that by not believing it.
Okay. Well, let's go with the past life. What's important for him to understand about that?
He was He's completely fighting everything I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're doing well. Keep talking. We'll just let him relax in a little bit. Stay to the side.
We're trying to talk of war.
Yeah, you're doing great. Does that fear serve him in any way in this lifetime?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does the belly want to tell him about?
He needs to let it go.
Yes. And what are you doing to help him let that go?
Trying to push it out, and he's fighting it.
Yeah, he doesn't need to fight it at all, does he?
No.
Why does he fight that, do you think? That's a good thing.
He's fought in other lifetimes.
Yeah, he doesn't need to fight with
And he
that.
doesn't know how to not fight, even though there's no reason to fight.
Okay. When he lets go of that, what will he notice differently about his body?
His lower back won't feel it bad.
Yeah.
It
See,
always
that-
feels tight to him.
Yeah. It's kind of been
When
it's been familiar with him.
he was on that ship from his journey,
Oh, with
Yeah.
ayahuasca?
and he was on his mat and he could stretch,
Yes.
he had no fear.
Yeah. Tell him more about after his ayahuasca experience when he could stretch his body so well for a few minutes.
It was tied. It was tied to the ship, to the organic ship that it was.
Yes. And that related through to his physical body?
Yes.
Nice. Why was it important to have that experience where he was tied to that ship?
To get his download.
Yeah. He wants to know more about.
He's not supposed to
He's not supposed to what?
know what it is.
Oh,
The download.
why is that?
It's for something else in the future that is, he will know when the time comes.
Okay.
Mm.
And that all the information that went into formed into that bright red
The triangle.
triangle that went into the third eye. Can you tell him anything about all of that?
I know he really wants to, but not at this time.
Okay.
He's pissed.
That's okay. maybe we talk about it a little bit later. But back to letting go of the fear, because if you were able to let go of that fear, how would that change things for him moving forward in this life?
He would be able to move into his pathway of what he needs to be doing very easily.
Well, he wants to do that.
He does. And he's doing something like that. But he always sabotages himself to make sure it doesn't come to fruition.
Why?
He's stupid.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't like that one either. But
This is hard.
mm-hmm.
So what does he need to understand about sabotaging himself to move past that?
He has to stop. He has to let go. He has to not. He has to know that this is what he's supposed to be doing, and not think ever that he's normal, and he knows he's not normal.
Okay. Well, there's not a lot of normal people walking around, I don't think.
No,
And he's here for
No.
a very big purpose, isn't he, at this time?
he is.
Tell him more about that.
Yeah. He is a second wave volunteer.
Second wave volunteer. He wondered about that.
He did. Yeah. Yeah.
What is his purpose as a second wave?
Simply be here. Just to be.
Just to be?
He's not supposed to do anything. But he's trying to. And he thinks he's supposed to be doing and doing and doing. And he's getting frustrated because when the next thing doesn't come, he doesn't know what to do. but he's not supposed to do anything.
So when he's just to be, how does he change and affect things to fulfill his purpose?
It's just his light. He just needs to stand there and be a beacon and let other people feel it. Let others feed off of it. Let others use it and just be. He doesn't need to do anything with it. Huh. He knows this.
Yeah. So I guess, are you saying he could kind of do whatever he wants, and as long as he's just spreading that light?
He would like to think so.
Yeah.
But it's not just stand here and be a bum. He's doing what he needs to do. There are those that needed what he does and who he is.
He wants to be of service to humanity.
He is. Just being here is. It is. Just being here, he is.
Okay. So he's doing his job.
Yes.
And how is that fear looking now in the stomach?
It's the fears is shaking itself out, but he's got a lot of it in there.
Yeah.
And he's taken on from a lot of different lives.
It's good for him to be able to let it go now, isn't it?
It is. He's.
What else do you want him to know about that?
Don't be afraid to let other people help you with it. It's okay. You don't have to do this alone. Though you might be important to what this is, he doesn't have to be alone. He's not the only one. There are many others.
Tell him about that.
Oh, he'll meet them. They'll come across his path. A few keep coming across the path like you. And he always feels drawn to them, as well as Bill and the Skull. And there will be others. He is. He'll be going to the QHHT reunion.
Oh, nice. He'll meet a lot of nice people there.
There will be people there. There will be those ones there that'll help. That he'll meet. That'll be part of this. For him.
All right. So they're on his path, and
Yep.
they'll meet up
He's
there.
already there. He's yes. He knows he's in all of this. He doesn't. He always has his human self of trusting, not trusting, and not, which is understandable. And we don't get in his way. We let it happen.
How's that area looking now in his body?
It's better.
Yeah.
It's letting go.
Wow. It's important work he's doing.
It is.
Anywhere else in the body that you're focusing on for healing and repair before I go to his list?
By doing that, started to help the right hip.
Well, he does ask about the discomfort in his left big toe and the numbness. He would like to know where or what is the discomfort from originally.
Driving too much.
Oh, he's been driving a lot these last few years.
He's been driving all over this country. He's seen a lot of things. He's done a lot of things, but he did a lot of it without getting out of the car.
Okay.
He would drive for many, many hours at a time and not stop. And then came a point in time where he would take a painkiller so that he would not get out of the car for many, many hours.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
What do you want him to know about that?
Don't ever do that again. Because I did it way too much.
So
I know that.
if he's going to be driving, what's the best protocol for him to do for his body?
Drive for a couple hours at a time and get out. Stretch, eat, drink. Get back and drive a few more. Never go more than 6 or 7 hours.
And if he follows that advice, what will he notice differently about his body?
It won't feel as hurtful. He's tight. But he knows this. He's a body worker. He knows all of this.
Right.
He's being stupid.
Well, now that he understands this, what are you doing to heal that left big toe in the foot?
Loosening up his hips.
Nice.
And again, he knows that too. But he loosens them up and then he gets back in the car. So he's being stupid.
So you're loosening up those hips and that will help the foot and the toe?
Yes, it's more within the hip flexors and the weakness within his glutes, which happen from sitting too much. Again, he knows this.
But it's good for him to hear it and to experience
It is. To hear it from this voice is much different than hearing it inside his head.
Right.
Yeah. He's questioning this voice. Is it his or is it ours? And it wouldn't be this direct if it were his.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the healing's coming into the hips, working through the body. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
He doesn't believe us.
And he can help maintain the healing by being...
He can maintain it all. He can maintain every little piece of it just by not being stupid.
Taking breaks and stretching. And... Well, he does ask about the right hip discomfort. Is that what you're also working on?
It's all the same.
It's all tied together, isn't it?
He knows this. He has a very good body. He heals very quickly. He knows how to keep it in a certain way, but he's just stupid. He's got to stop being so stupid.
He's just trying to...
No, he knows he's stupid.
Oh.
He's not denying what we're saying.
Well, you remember how well his face healed from that terrible accident on his bike he had?
Yes.
He said that his family, the father side, heals very fast. What do you want him to know about his lineage and the healing ability that they carry?
His great-great-grandfather is one with him, and he is him. He's always been him. He's with him all the time.
Yeah, explain more about their connection.
Oh, they are healers. He's been a healer before. His great-great-grandfather is a healer. And,
He wonders how his great-great-grandfather was able to lay hands on people and heal them of maladies.
Yes, and we're not seeing it. We're not. He's not supposed to know this. It's in the implant. It's in the imprint.
To understand it?
Yes. If he understands it right now, he will not keep on the same path.
Oh, explain that. That's interesting.
He is meant to open this up and find this, not by being simply told and given.
Okay, like to experience it
He
himself.
needs to find it himself. That's the only way he will be able to figure it out. And because if he does it any other way, he will not. He will not do it. He will think it's so easy.
I'm curious, how did his great-great-grandfather discover and understand his gifts?
In a dream. But that was a much different time. Those times don't exist anymore. That was a much different time period of man.
It's late 1700s or 1800s?
And late 1800s, early 1900s, and then there was less doubt. So he could have a dream and then understand it and do it and not question it.
Wow. So his healing knowledge came through his dreams?
Yes.
Has Mike experienced Anything similar to that in this life?
Yes.
And what do you want him to know about that?
Don't doubt it. He prides himself on living a life of no doubt, which is why he chooses not to have insurance.
Oh,
Because, and his father hates that. But he believes that insurance is living a life of doubt. Even one shred of doubt. But urgent care takes care of him, so it's okay. As long as he remains on doing what he does and lives the way he lives and lives the path that he lives on, he doesn't need to worry about it.
okay. He wonders about the floaters in his eyes and if those can be healed. What's going on there?
Old age. They've just been coming for years. And,
He's pretty young, though.
but he's had eye issues since he was a little kid.
What's the root reason behind the eye issues from when he was
And
young?
he's supposed to live that life. It's part of his theme, part of his bind to this life. This is part of his journey. He is blind, but not blind. It was what made him that much better of a healer and that much better of touch and feel and heal. Without the eye issues, he would not have as strong of sense of touch.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, would it be in his best interest to heal those since he's requesting it?
Yes. But it may not last. More may come back.
Say that again?
It may not last. More may come back because that's just how his eyes are.
Explain to him how you heal those eye floaters just so he knows going forward.
Energetically, they are being dissolved.
So, wow. What will he notice differently after the session because of that?
He won't see them, especially when he looks in the sky.
Okay.
Because that's when he sees them the most. When it's a blank slate and a blank sky. And when he sees them, he hates them. But he understands that they're part of him. He just doesn't want them to overtake his eyes so that one day he can't see at all.
What do you want him to know about that?
If that happens, it's part of your process. You'll never become fully blind, but you may lose more eyesight.
Well, he'd like to be able to see clearly in all ways of his life, physically and otherwise.
He sees clearly spiritually. That is where his clearness needs to be. And that's where his clarity is the most needed.
How is that clarity spiritually for him? Anything that could be helped out there?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Allowing his heart to open. Molly opened it big time, but it was so shut. It was so closed.
Oh.
For good reason.
The heartache that he had had during life?
Yes.
Okay. And his friend Molly helped him to open it again?
Yes.
Well, we have a lot of questions about Molly in just a bit, but let's stay focused on the body for just a bit. He asks about sensitive receding gum line above the teeth.
Yes.
What is this? What message is the body trying to give him about that?
That was just him trying to whiten his teeth. And he went too far. And they hit the gum line.
Okay.
And killed off that part of his gums.
What was he to learn from that experience?
You don't need to be so pretty. Even though he's not. He knows he's not.
Oh.
That's a joke.
What are you going to do to repair and heal that gum line for him?
energetically try and take away the sensation. Happens when it's cold. When he bites cold, it hurts.
I know that's his communication area. How is he with his communication?
Not the best.
What do you want?
He has the best. He is, but then he's not.
Okay.
It depends who it is. When he's working with people, and he's working with clients, and he's working in therapist mode,
Yeah.
he's amazing. But when it's his own personal experience, he sucks.
How can he do better in his own personal experience with this communication?
Trust himself. Trust he's better than he is. Better than he thinks he is. Mm-hmm. He's put himself down, even though he has no reason to ever do that. And he's had his moments of not thinking he's good enough, but the women did that to him.
And what healing can be given to him to overcome what the women have done?
Just energy to the heart, green in the heart.
Nice.
But he doesn't need to hold on to them. He doesn't need to hold on to any of it.
So the heart's strengthening and looking good.
The heart's fine.
Well, he has noticed that there's family members with cancer, and he's worried that he has a possibility of cancer in his body. What would you tell him about that?
That's all in his mind. The only thing not to do is to hold on to any anger. Any anger he has, let go of it. He doesn't hold on to anger. He lets go.
What? Tell him specifically for him why it's important he not hold on to anger.
The way it manifests poorly in the body, and you don't ever want that in your body. So there's no need to ever hold on to that. If you have it, experience it, have the human experience of it, but there's no reason for having it anymore. So let it go. And that goes for anybody and everybody. But most people hold on to it, which is where his mother got into big trouble. And he wants to chime in here. He is concerned for his mother and for his, for his sister and his niece in the same way of her mother, their mother.
What's important for him to know about his family's condition of cancers?
Those who had it all had anger. Don't hold on to any anger and you'll be just fine. They all had deep-seated anger, which he worked with well with his mother to allow her to release that. And he worked with Molly to help her release hers.
He's so good at that, isn't he?
Yes.
Does that take a toll on him, or is he able to not?
Yes. He has his times where it takes a toll, but he takes his time and goes and helps himself repair, which is what Arizona is. Arizona is his place of healing.
Okay.
He knows what to do when he gets there.
He wonders what other supplements, food, drinks, and exercise he can add to create optimal health.
Vitamin B12. Vitamin K.
How will those help his body?
The greens of the K. The greens that have the K in it. He needs to get back to eating more greens. He had his moments where he eats plenty of them, then he stops. And they need to be good. They need to be different kinds, not just one. Not necessarily being a vegetarian, because he needs meat. His body, his blood type is who he is. He needs meat. But he can never be a vegetarian. The B12 is something that both him, his brother, and his sister all had deficiencies in. He doesn't feel the same as they did with their pain in their hands. But it would benefit him to have it.
He has a few questions about his journey. He wants to know, is QHHT his future in the healing arts?
Not entirely. It's not his only way. He was curious of whether or not that would be what he would shift into and do only, but no. It is another tool in his bag. He will use it. He will do it. He will help. But it's not his only thing.
So he asks, is he supposed to still maintain doing physical
Yes.
body work?
Yes.
And tell him
Just
why.
not as much. Because he's extremely good at it. And to not do it would be just giving it up. And he's not to give it up. There are people who need his touch. There are people who need his advice. There's people who need his counsel. There are people who need his light. And if he stops touching people, then he will stop doing part of his purpose.
Okay. He asks, will his heart heal and open enough to allow a woman into his life with reciprocated unconditional love?
Yes. He needs to let them all go, though. It will not happen until he lets them all go. All the past. They all have to go. As we said before, as pictures, his phone numbers, his email addresses, all have to go.
He has to let them all go?
All go. And not of all friends, but all those that he held on to.
Okay, and when he does that, what will shift for him?
There will be room. The room will be laid and made inside of his heart, inside of his body, inside of his energy to not allow anything to be stuck anymore.
Nice. Okay, well, that'll be very nice for him.
Yes.
He asks, how can he best support you, his high self?
Meditate. Be one with us. He knows how to do it. He does it all the time. Go back into nature. He loves nature. He's always been in nature. But he stopped. Music, get back to playing the piano. He plays the piano. He loves the piano. But he goes through his spurts where he plays and then he doesn't play. And then he plays some more and then he doesn't play at all for years. So play. We're always there when you play. It's fun.
And why is he able to fly in his dreams since childhood? That's cool.
Very cool. It is a way to be free. It is a way to simply be somewhere other than here. And when he flies, he has complete and total freedom. He can be whatever he wants, be wherever he wants, live however he wants. And in his dreams, he's having so many adventures because we don't sleep. So we like our adventures and we have fun.
So what are some of his adventures he has in his dreams that he may not remember?
As far as he's concerned, he remembers them all. And he remembers all those adventures. As far as visiting other places, those are for us.
What does he do when he goes to the other places?
Oh, we have fun. We see friends. We see family. We see Galactic family. We see other people, places, things. We see, and we just have adventures. If he knows too much of this, he will not want to be part of this life, and he won't want to come home.
Oh gosh, wow.
So he needs to be here, so he cannot know as much as we know.
Okay.
That is why we are saying what we're saying, but we're not telling him too much.
Okay.
Because he needs to focus on here, focus on being in this time, and not being where we are.
Well, why did he choose to come into this current life at this time?
Because he is here to help. He needs to help humanity transition into the Galactic. And the next phase of humanity.
Okay. And what's important for him to know about the galactic phase of humanity?
That he is part of it, and that he needs to be helping everyone who is part of it he knows this, and he's trying to, he's frustrated. He doesn't know his full role, but it's not time for him to fully know yet. So we cannot tell him.
What will it be like for him when it is time for him to know?
His mind will be blown.
Oh.
And he will understand what he's supposed to do when he's supposed to do it, and that's how it always happens. He's never supposed to know things until he's supposed to know them, and that's how his whole life has gone. Even with Molly, when it happened with Molly, it happened in an instant, and in each instant that it happened, he jumped into action, which is what he's supposed to do. That's how he lives his life, and he prides himself on knowing that he created a life that he can always jump into action in any given moment. He's not tied to anything or anyone, and that's how this life is supposed to be for him.
Okay.
But, whatever woman, whoever becomes partnerships with him will be in that same boat. It will not tie him down, it will go with him. And they will do this together. So, there's...
They'll share that in common.
And when that happens, it will be known. And they will be able to do that together. And even if there is a moment that they are together and he has to go do something by himself, it'll be known that that can happen. Same thing with her. If she has to go do something by herself, because that is what needs to happen, then it will happen. And there will be no jealousy between the two. There will be no discourse between the two, as has happened many times within the other women of his life.
Okay. Wow, that'll be a nice change for him then. Well, he does ask, is he currently on the correct pathway to fulfill his purpose?
Yes, it started. It started with Adam. Yes. He is on the path. He knows this. There will be much more to come. This is just the beginning. And those who have crossed his path, he knows when they're supposed to be in his life.
Right. Oh, this is hard. Well, he does wonder, why did he constantly turn to drugs and alcohol to suppress his abilities?
He never wanted to accept the responsibility.
Responsibility of what?
Of the responsibility of his abilities.
Okay.
He has many abilities that he came into this life with, that he took from another life, other lives, as healers in other lives. And when he brought the understanding and the wisdom and the knowledge from those lives into this life, he's always used it, and used it wisely. This is the first one he was not too wise.
Well, he had some pretty amazing trips, as he calls them.
Oh yes, he has done many things, and not every one of them we were approved of.
Okay.
But he has free will, so he chose to do what he chose to do.
What is it like for you when he uses that free will to do things that maybe aren't so beneficial?
Frustrating. Very frustrating. But he is having his human experience. And he's allowed to. He chose to. We are proud of him for being here to do what he's doing. But he has taken the human experience to the umpteenth level, and we wish he didn't do so.
Well, he wonders, what does he fear most?
Failure. He feels He doesn't like to fail. But yet he's never truly been allowed or able to fail. He had a strong family and parents who never truly allowed him to fail. So he would sabotage himself to feel failure.
Oh, yeah, he mentioned that he realized that he was the only one that really created the hard experiences.
Yeah.
He created them for himself to learn.
He did them all. He's supposed to have a very easy, not easy, but low stress life.
Right.
He created all his stress.
Wow. Do you think he's learned a lot from it?
He didn't need to.
He asks, how does he best support humanity as a whole?
Just simply be here. There's nothing else for him to do. When it comes towards humanity, it's simply be. Be a beacon of light. He could simply, This was something that was thought of and done a long time ago that he never came to fruition because he never did. Being the, his illumination project.
What's his illumination project?
It was to go into public spaces, crowded public spaces, and simply sit and illuminate. He talked a lot about it, and it never happened.
Why not?
Lazy. The sign.
But you said that's kind of what he's here to do, to
It is.
beacon.
Which is why he was supposed to do that, but he chose not to. He liked to talk about a lot of things and not fully carry things through.
Well, could he still do that?
Of course, he can always do it. And the sign that he was to have in front of him was a sign that said in red, pick a spot, pop a squat, and illuminate. And he never did it.
I wonder, when he's driving so much across the country, does he illuminate as he drives?
All the time.
Yeah.
Everywhere he goes.
It's like an antenna.
He's a beacon.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it, and everybody sees it, and everybody feels it when he's around. But he talks himself down. He, in private, talks self-doubt, even though there is no reason for it. He knows that. But he doesn't at times believe that this is really true. That he really is this. That he is supposed to be doing these things because that is what he is.
Do you think after hearing himself explain this, it'll be easier for him to
Maybe.
accept it?
Maybe.
I hope so.
He didn't go anywhere. He's right here next to me. And even by saying next to me, he knows he's right here. And
Right.
he can be. He doesn't. He's hearing everything that's being said.
Good. It's so good.
And there's, he will listen to the recording, but the recording is, we will see what happens.
He wants to know, who were the beings when he was a child that held him down in bed so he couldn't move, and then giggled when he screamed for his mom?
Fairies. It was all fairies playing with him.
Oh. Why'd they scare him, though?
Because he knew that they were fairies, but we'll say he liked the attention of screaming for mom. That's why they giggled. Yeah. Because he knew he was fine. He knew there was nothing wrong. He knew there was no fear to truly be had. And when they screamed, when he screamed, they knew that he was having fun. He didn't think so, but he was just a little kid having his human experience.
I wonder, how did they even know to come to him to have that experience?
He's been tied to them forever. He's always been tied to them. You know where he is all the time. He saw one a few years ago. He knows it happened. It was in the dining room of his parents' house. He saw the orb of light. He knew what it was. And it happened.
When he first moved out to Phoenix, he witnessed the Phoenix lights that so many saw and documented.
Yes.
Why did he witness them?
He was supposed to. It is part of his journey. It was more for his reaction that we were looking for. He showed no fear. He showed no... There was no fear. He was not afraid. It was just normal, which is what we needed to see. His reaction was...
And why did they show over Phoenix that evening?
To get the barometer for the whole. See how the reaction would be. See what the energy levels would be.
What did they find?
At that time period, it was still not right. It was talked away. It was said like it never even happened.
He said the news made fun of it.
They did. They tried to tuck it away as if it was something from the government or something that was not, something that was other than a spaceship. But it was clearly a ship. It was meant for all to see.
And what happened to him when he heard the radio communication driving through the desert?
He was trying to be communicated to, but it was used in radio waves, which isn't how it normally is done, so it couldn't work.
Okay, so the song kind of went from loud to soft, and then the static, and then it sounded like a garbled somebody talking to him.
It was a communication, but it was not. Radio waves are not how it's used.
Okay.
So it was there, but not translatable. So he acknowledged it. That's all that was necessary at that moment in time.
What was the message that was trying to come through to him that he could
We are
understand?
here, and you are part of it, and we will connect soon.
Oh gosh, that's beautiful.
Which we did. They did.
And when was that? What was that like for him?
That was the ayahuasca journey.
Okay, oh yeah.
That was the connection.
Okay, I've got a lot of questions about that. Just He wonders what happened to him when he heard his friend's voice change to a radio frequency in his head in the kitchen.
That was from the implant, or the implant.
An implant?
That's how it just came out, didn't it?
Yeah. Who placed the implant and for what reason?
I don't know if we were supposed to say that.
Well, if he's asking, I bet he's ready for the answer.
We were supposed to say the upload. But we misspoke and said implant. Now, he knows there's an implant.
Okay.
He wasn't supposed to know that.
Well, now that he does,
Oops.
what's important for him to know about it?
It will help with his telepathy.
So that it's beneficial for him?
Learning how to use it. This is why he's able to communicate so easily with the orca whales.
Oh, okay. Wow. So that evening when he heard his friend's voice shift in frequency, what was happening exactly?
It was being worked on. It was being tuned. It was...
And how can he work with it for his highest and best good?
Pretend it's not there.
Why?
It works best when it's not focused on.
Okay. Where is it located, I wonder?
In between. In between the ears. Between the ears and from the third eye back.
Okay. Has he always had it, or
No.
when did it get placed?
When he was a child. One of the times when he was held down and couldn't move.
Oh.
He was actually worked on.
So he's had it a long time.
Long time. And he's, yes, supposed to have been
And it's still...
using it and learning how to do this since he was a child, yet when he found drugs and alcohol, he chose that path instead.
Okay. But he says now he doesn't want that anymore. Doesn't even sound
Correct.
good.
No.
Okay.
That is over.
All right. Now let's talk about the shamanic journey that he had. He said, who were the beings? Sounds like it's you.
Yes and no.
Okay. Explain that.
We were present. We were always present. But there were the Palladian beings who were bringing him home, because that is where he's from and part of.
And so when he saw the giant void or the portal open up and he went down, that was, what was that part of the journey for?
That was to come home. That was the easiest way to bring him without over stressing the physical body. That was not a physical, his physical body did not leave the room. His astral projection came through the portal and was on the ship with us. We were his ambassador.
Yes, he remembers the ambassador.
But we were not the beings on the ship. We were just speaking to him telepathically.
Sitting at a table with other beings when he heard the ambassador.
He was not at the table. He was sitting by the, let's say, in the corner.
Okay.
And he was, they knew he was present. They only needed him to get the download and imprint into him to take into the physical form.
Why was that important?
Again, for a future purpose that he is not yet to know.
Can you tell him more about the
He's
ship that
very upset about that.
Oh. Okay. Wow.
Because he wants to know, and he's pissed that he can't know now.
Okay. So he was on that ship,
Mm.
and he knows there was a download and an imprint.
Yes.
What is, just out of curiosity, this is a question for me. What is the difference between the download and the imprint?
The download happened there on the ship. Imprint happened and went back in physical form.
Right. And why did it have to happen that way?
Because the download had to happen from the ship itself, from the computer, like how you would say the computer of the organic ship, and his physical body was not there, so it had to be downloaded into his mainframe, and then taken back to his physical form and imprinted onto that.
Okay, so the same information that was downloaded upon the ship was imprinted once he
Yes.
came back to the physical body and became aware of it?
Yes.
Okay, oh, cool.
And then his tether, which he did not like that it was cut, but that tether is what allowed the imprint to take place.
Okay, and that's when he was also experiencing that great flexibility of
Yes,
the physical
because
body?
he had he was tethered to the ship, and the organic ship itself gave him the abilities, the physical abilities to be superhuman. And that's what he experienced in that brief time.
Wow.
Until the cord was severed. But it had to be severed for him to be physical again. And simply be human.
And you said when he's ready, he'll access that downloaded and imprinted information?
Yes. But not. He may or may not be ready. The time will come, and as he has done in everything else, there is no ready. It simply happens.
Okay. And that's when he comes into action.
There is no practice for being ready. There is simply do when time comes.
Okay. Okay. This is okay.
He is used to it. He knows that's how life is. He knows that's what he signed up for. So it's no big deal.
When he is ready for it, though, what might he realize that he doesn't know already?
He will know for sure that he is a unlimited spiritual being. He knows that now, but he still feels human. When the time comes, he will lose that human feeling that binds him to this egocentric life. And when that is gone, he will be able to do anything. And when the time comes, he will need to be able to do anything.
Thank you. And what happened during the 5 minutes of missing time when he and Molly were driving on the island?
He cannot know that right now. Something did happen, yes, but he cannot be aware of it right now. Molly is aware of it, but she is in a place that allows her to be aware.
Okay.
He cannot be aware yet. Mm, mm,
And if he wonders why, what would you tell him?
mm. Keep wondering. It's he will have many things and has had many things like that happen, and it's okay. He accepts it and understands it. He always wants to know more and wants to know why, because his physical mind always wants to know more and always wants to know why, but he is not supposed to. Because again, the more he knows, the less he will do his job on Earth.
All right, thank you. And why did his terrible bicycle accident take place?
He needed his third eye to open, because without that opening, the eventual download an implant imprint could not happen. The implant was already there. But he was too high on himself and needed a knockdown. Yes.
And that's when his body healed so well from the terrible facial wounds he got.
Yes.
He was so close to home before he had that accident, just a few yards away.
Almost made it. But he had to have that happen, and it had to happen that close to home, because if it happened much further away in the ride, he probably, no, not probably, he would have bled out and died trying to walk home.
Oh gosh.
So that could not happen. It had to happen that close to home. So there was someone he would get help from.
He wonders, did he ever die during this lifetime, but it didn't take since it wasn't his time?
Yes.
And what does he need to know about that?
Stop being stupid. Stop putting yourself in positions that could kill you. Like being extremely drunk and riding a bike home.
Okay.
Or when he was a child and learned to make a noose and hung himself in the backyard.
Oh no.
He did not die, but could have from being stupid. His mother was in the kitchen window watching it happen and came outside very quickly. So he did it, stupid thing, but did it in the perfect timing. So he did not die.
Okay. Wow.
If he would have done that without his mother in the window, he would have died. But
Divine intervention with the mom.
it was not time.
And what happened during his meditation in Sedona that led him to massage therapy?
He sat and fell into a state of trance that he never knew was possible. But he needed to have that time to reset and allow himself to realize what he was about to hear was his path.
And he had the missing time there as well?
Yes.
What happened during that missing time?
Nothing. He felt no time at all. He went so deep into a space of bliss that time past in the physical world, but not in his inner world. So to him, it felt like 20 minutes, where in the rest of his time was many hours. So he simply did not experience time.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, he encountered that owl that followed him around the golf course.
Yes.
Why did he encounter that owl on the island this summer?
Another friend.
Oh, tell him all about that.
It's simply a friend who follows him around from life to life and says hello every now and then. There is no name. It's simply a spiritual friend who says hello when the moment arises.
It's a great friend to have.
He has multiple animal friends like that who show up briefly, say hello, and then leave. You'll see them again next lifetime.
He wonders, what is his connection beyond the physical to his friend Molly?
Love. They have loved before. They have been close before, which is why when she called and needed someone, it was so easy for him to say, I'll be there. He thinks he would do that for anyone, but Molly is special.
What's important for him to understand about their connection?
It's not over. He knows that. He sees it all the time. He's clear that it's not over. And it was just a see you later, not goodbye.
And he was so instrumental about helping her and her mother break the karmic bond that brought him back in this lifetime again, which was so hard. Do you feel like they were able to heal that?
Yes.
A mom and Molly?
Yes. They took care of that through their conversation of forgiveness and apology, and they will not have to come again as that pairing. They will most likely do another lifetime together, just not as mother-daughter in same roles.
Okay. Now, she was his first QHHT session, and she experienced full healing during that session, they thought. But what wasn't mentioned, known by her at the time, were that there were tumors also in her brain.
Yes.
Why didn't her high self tell them about the tumors in the brain?
They were not supposed to know.
Why?
It was her time. Everything happened exactly how it needed to happen. He did nothing wrong. He asked every question that needed to be asked properly to get out everything that needed to come out, but it was just time.
Because he does worry about if he did something wrong, but you're saying no,
He did nothing wrong.
everything was the way it was supposed to be for her.
Yes. No matter what we say, he will always feel something. But
Well, he does ask, even though you just answered this, is there anything else he could have done for her to help her heal so she wouldn't have died
No.
now?
no, it was inevitable.
About the mother and her finding that healing from the past life?
Yes.
Okay. Does Molly have any messages for him?
That she is so grateful and thankful for the time that was spent together, and she would have never been able to do it in that way by herself. So thank you for being the one who helped me.
We send so much love to Molly, such an important friend on his path.
Yes.
Yes. Does she have any messages for her family, Bill, April, or Casey?
April, I'll see you again next life. We are always in that life together. We always we are best friends in life. We always are. And Bill, I'll always be your little monkey. And
What a great friendship through the ages, right? Through different times. Now he is going to be going to Egypt in September next year with me and Sarah.
Yes.
What is his connection beyond the physical to Egypt?
He lived life in ancient Egypt as a healer. And was instrumental in being part of the pyramids and many healings that took place and occurred within the pyramids. He must go into the king's chamber and sit and experience the energy to heighten his own vibration, to kick start the download and imprint.
Tell him about the download.
Not at this time.
Will he uncover more when he's in Egypt?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Now, those groups that come together are never random. It always coalesces into a great reunion of family and friends from different times and places in lifetimes. What is his role within the group that will be there in September?
As of right now, is to simply be the light. He will be a beacon that will lead the group into some fantastical events.
So much fun.
Yes.
How will that trip change him, I wonder?
He will experience and know and feel home. He will experience and feel and know what he did there, and have an understanding of how he brought the knowledge with him into that life in the way he was meant to do it in this life. But in this life, he chose not to do it the same way.
Okay, cool.
He chose to self-medicate and self-sabotage so that he didn't have to take on the responsibility of those powers and abilities.
It's going to be a fabulous trip for him.
Yes, for everyone.
Yes.
And he is very grateful and thankful that he is doing the trip with you, and that is why he could not do it in May.
Oh, it'll be a wonderful time together in
Yes.
September. Meant to be.
Yes.
Right. He wonders about what is his connection beyond the physical to the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull. He saw that today in his
Yes.
earlier time.
It is where the source of all his information comes from. In the past lifetimes that he came here as a healer, all the wisdom and information that he has attained over all of those lifetimes is contained in that skull. So when he is around that skull and present with that skull, he receives more information.
What information did he receive just on his way here when he stopped to visit Bill Homan?
That this is the beginning of all of it, and that it is time for him to open up the heart and allow himself to be present so that all of what needs to happen can happen. And information-wise, there was another download that took place. Again, not for him to know. He doesn't like that.
And what is his connection beyond the physical to, you mentioned the whales, or the whales and dolphins? What's important for him to know about that?
That is where he is most comfortable. That is his friends. He loves them and they love him. And when he goes to the island, they say hello, and he says hello. And it's always confirmed when he has someone there with him. Like Molly was this past time, like his other friend was the time before, the years before in 2020 when he was there. That is when it started, and he was able to do it after his ayahuasca journey, when he could speak telepathically through vibration with them. And he clearly is shown when they come to a specific side of the island, and he knows when it happens, and then he gets up and goes to that side of the island, and there will have been people waiting there for many, many hours or days, never seeing a whale, and then he shows up and calls them in, and they come and put on a show.
Has he had a lifetime of being a whale or a dolphin before?
Not as a whale or a dolphin, but on a planet of water, all water, and he lived in the water, which is why, strangely enough, in this life, he does not like being on the water.
Wow. And what about, he wonders about his connection beyond the physical to his great-great-grandfather, the healer.
Yes. That connection is they are one. They have always been one and will always be one. They never leave each other.
And what about his connection with Jesus?
That is who he aspires to be. He has always had a fascination with Jesus in many lifetimes, which is why he chooses to be a healer every time he is here. And he sees Jesus as his ultimate mentor.
And what about his connection to extraterrestrials and Bashar?
He has lived many lives as an ET. He has always been part of the Galactic family. He is ET by nature. This human experience and his human experiences of coming to the earth are not his true nature. They are here to help humanity. And that is his only reason for being in this world. So his connection to extraterrestrials is family. He is there, boots on the ground here, doing the work that they all want done. He was the one who chose the human experience to come and live this particular life to help humanity become part of the Galactic family.
Is there anything more about his connection to his galactic family that would be helpful for him?
Keep doing what you're doing, and we are always watching. We are always here. We are always present. You have seen us multiple times, but you came into this life made to forget. So we understand that he has forgotten that connection, but he is in the awakening process to fully understand and integrate that back into his being.
And what about his connection with the San Juan Island in Washington?
That is his place where he connects with the whales, and that is the greatest feeling of past lives, from the water to the speaking in telepathic terms and means to the whales and animals, and his connection to nature is very, very strong there. So he keeps returning every so often to remember.
Kind of like Arizona's a special place for him. And
Arizona is the place for his physical body to heal. The island is the place for his spiritual body to heal.
Is there any other place that's important for him to be at?
He will find Egypt is it.
Oh, nice. Okay. Wow. Is there anything he can do to prepare for the trip to Egypt that would help him?
He is already doing that physically and mentally. This particular interaction with you is getting him prepared spiritually as well as emotionally. So this is a big thing to have happening and not waiting till 2026.
It was perfect timing to be able to get him in a little bit earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes, it all needed to happen. And yes, it is a great thing for it to have happened right now. So we Thank you.
Well, it felt right. We needed to do it, that's for sure.
Thank you.
For that. What about his connection with his mom and dad?
That goes to past lives as well. And it is a different role each time. But this time, he had to come as the child of them, so that when they went through their process of his mother going through cancer and almost dying, or should have died, that he stepped in and took over a different role, and they saw him in a different light, and their roles became reversed. He became more of the parent taking care of them rather than them taking care of him. So that all he has done in this life with them has taken care of the karmic bond he has or had with both of them.
And how, or is he fulfilling his life purpose? We talked about that a little bit, but what else can you add to that?
He will continue to learn and experience more forms of healing arts, and he will be practicing many. Again, it is not that QHHT is going to be the end all to it. It is just another step. It is another tool for the tool belt, and when he is ready, he will do that in whatever way is necessary and needed. Maybe not particularly as a profession, but as helping those who need it in the time of their need. And there are other forms of physical work that he will need to learn, and other forms of energy work that he will learn as well along the way. His journey is just starting. Even though it has been going for many years. But this particular version is just starting.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you for that. He wonders, was he originally an ET?
Yes.
What can you tell him about that?
Palladian. And he, yes, he was part of the Lumerians, and that is where his water comes from. Then the Palladian is the Galactic family that he has been a part of for many lifetimes. His lifetimes here on Earth are few and far between, but only when necessary.
It's kind of interesting that just yesterday there was quite a bit of news about the senators and congressmen talking about ET disclosure.
Yes.
What do you have to say about that coming forward to the focus?
We are in the window. The window is happening. It started in 2023, and it is happening. It is depending on the energy of the humanity, and we will see what happens. They are heading towards that, and it is a yes, it is going to happen. There isn't a in our mind, there is not a specific timetable yet as far as a specific date, but it is slowly but surely happening, and it will happen sooner than later. Yes.
Well, I can say personally, I've seen two crafts easily in the last couple of weeks. Is that going to be a more common experience for people?
Yes. Yes.
And why is
but
that?
Not for everyone.
Okay.
There will definitely be those who will not accept that it's happening, and if their vibration is not of that specific vibration. They will not see it. They will think everyone is crazy, which is fine because they will not be on that version of Earth anyway.
Right. What can you share with us about the different versions of Earth? We've heard about that. Bashar's even spoken about that.
Yes. That there are an overlap happening, and as they separate, the people, the humans of one vibrational way of being will move in a different direction than those of a other vibration. And when they move far enough away from each other, it will be as if you don't even see them anymore.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. It's incredible times we're living in right now.
Yes. That is why we are all still here. To witness and be a part of this. Those who do not want to see it or witness it are jumping ship, if you will.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
As you may have noticed, the amount of people who are dying and passing away, and they are not here for this shift and change. They have chosen to leave.
Oh, interesting. And he's curious still about learning the laying on of hands of healing like his great-great-grandfather?
Yes. That will be something that needs to be uncovered through more practice, through the now that he has gotten to the point where drugs and alcohol are no longer part of life. Now he can begin to dive into that realm, which he needs to be pure and clear, and he was not. So that was not even an option, even though he wanted it to be. But now that the clarity is happening, it can begin to come to the surface.
It seems like a lot of people will dim down their light with the alcohol and the drugs because they're a little worried or not understanding of their gifts.
Yes.
Do you see that maybe becoming less of a problem as we move into this more golden age?
It depends on the individual. The individual has their free will to choose what they want. And if that's what they choose because of they fear it or don't want it or don't want to fulfill their purpose for being here, that is their choice. They can do whatever they want, and we will never interfere.
Understood. Thank you for that. How does he best use his connection with animals?
Keep talking to them. Don't ever stop. And know that they are your best friends. They are man's best friends. Don't ever stop. And at some point, there will be a teaching of others how to communicate with the animals as well. That will come down the line.
He wonders, why does his mother continually have cancer appear?
It is part of her path. It is part of her. It is what she is here.
He really helped her to heal herself.
He did. He did. He did, and she was able to accept that help at that time because there was nowhere else to turn. It was that or die. So it was easier for her to handle and accept that he was her only option left.
Well, with this next round of cancer that she's going through, he wonders what can he do to help her in this time.
Simply support her. The things that were done last time are not for this time. This time is meant for her and Dave, her husband, his father. It is for them to get through this one together. It is their time to work with their karmic bond. She, depending on how they go, this could be the last one.
They're learning what they need to be learning.
Yes.
It's not up to, he doesn't need to do the healing with her this time.
No, there is nothing to heal. This one is between them.
And he wonders, how did his father not get crushed and die when the tree fell and landed on him?
Divine timing. It was not his time. He is Georgine's wife, his mother. He is her guardian, and it's not for him time to go.
Oh, wow. What do you think that experience taught his father?
Nothing.
Oh.
He does have no. It was scary for everyone, and no doubt he had fear as well. But he did not get phased. He is the only person that could have done that and still had a normal pulse and vitals when the EMTs found him.
Oh my goodness.
They expected him to be crushed, and he was just hanging out.
Oh gosh. But that taught the EMTs something, maybe.
They always expect a dead, smushed body coming to a car that looked like that. And somehow the divine intervention and timing made it happen and made it so that it stopped right at his nose.
Wow. Okay,
He was pinned in the vehicle, but a large branch, like trunk portion of an old growth tree, stopped the fall before the larger part of the tree crushed him.
Was the tree itself conscious and aware of what was happening?
Yes.
What's important to know about that?
He messed with the trees. He cut the one down in the backyard because Mom wanted it down through fear. And the trees said, mess with us, we'll mess with you.
Oh, wow. lesson learned then.
He does not know and is not fully aware of his power and capabilities as well. He is in that lineage that has all of it as well, but he does not know. And he does not want to know.
Because he comes from his grandfather. His
great grandfather.
Yes. Oh, yes.
His great grandfather. My Michael's father's side has the healer and healing in it from his father's mother's side.
His aunt recently passed away and wonders if there's any messages for her daughter or for Mike's mom.
For her daughter. If you want me to talk in the dream, you have to get past your grief first. Until you are at a vibration I can be a part of, then we cannot talk. I give you smells, memories. I give you things that are there for you to see, but when you do, you go to grief. As you go to grief, I don't want you in grief, so I make it less. If you get rid of the grief and turn that to joy and happiness, I will communicate more.
No coincidence with the sirens going by as you were discussing that, I would imagine.
Yes.
Interesting. Let's see here. Are there any family members that he must fulfill a karmic bond with during this lifetime?
His brother.
He says their relationship, they're working on it and getting better.
Yes, it is much better. It is very much improved, and the bond is breaking, which is good.
Why was it that one moment in their childhood that turned things so drastically for them?
Extreme jealousy on his brother's part, and he was stupid.
That they're mending things and
Yes.
repairing.
Yes, as long as he, Michael, that is not stupid. And as long as he keeps letting go of his arrogant, egotistical side, he will mend many things.
All right, let me just see if we've hit everything here on his list. Again, the best way to spread his light in this world for the betterment of humanity is what?
Simply be present. Stay off drugs. Don't drink as much. He understands.
When we were able to make this appointment happen sooner, what was it that you hoped he received from this experience?
The emotional baggage to be let go of before Egypt happens. And to connect with you.
Feels like we've been friends for many lifetimes.
Yes. We have done this before.
That's awesome. All right, gosh. Is there anything that he didn't ask today that you wish he would have?
know. He said pretty much all he needs to know right now, even though he wishes there was more information. But not yet. It will come.
Okay. Well, you've given him so much information today.
Yes.
He's going to be really excited to listen.
Yes, he's happy and confused on how all of this is happening right now, because he is present. He is right here. He knows and remembers everything. He is he's trying to peek his head in here, but we are not letting him.
Well, he said he was hoping he'd just check out and not remember anything.
Nope,
We talked
that
about
is
how
not it.
that's not the case
No,
anymore.
that is not even remotely ever going to happen.
From your perspective, why is it important that people are feeling more aware when they're in this deep state of hypnosis?
As you explained earlier, the connection between self, high self, and the conscious mind is becoming closer together, and the veil is being lifted, and the awakening is happening. So more people must have this connection, and those who have this connection and can use this connection to the best of their ability will always be able to be part of this world that we are co-creating currently. So it is important for Michael to know that his high self and conscious mind are one and are closer than ever. And his veil is extremely thin.
And is there anything that he can do to help make that bond even closer yet?
Keep doing what he's doing. Meditate more. Connect with nature more. And do this more. Because he is very confused on how this is happening and how this voice is coming out in the way that it is, because he is trying to, and has been the whole time, trying to stop it, to test it, to see if it is really him or if it is actually the high self. And we win.
Sometimes the voice does sound quite a bit different than their awake and aware voice.
This one is, yes, very different.
And explain to him why that is.
Because we are different than him, yet we are the same. So we have the same voice, but we speak differently. His personality is not ours. So his voice is his personality. We have our own.
I love that. That makes sense. Gosh. Anything else that you can think of that's important for him to know?
We love you. Though he knows that, he needs to really, really know that. And we are never gone. We are always here. He is always connected. And he is never alone. He is never separate. He knows that. He says it to other people all the time when they ask, aren't you alone? Why are you not with someone? Why do you not have a someone in your life? And he always says, I am never alone. I am simply by myself.
Wow. Okay. And let's check back with the body. Let's see how the healing is going. How is the heart looking now? So it was looking good already, but just strengthening and no fears for the future with the heart.
It feels and looks fine.
Great. And how about the fear in the belly that was being worked on so much at the beginning? How is that doing?
That has been worked on the whole session.
Nice.
Any shaking that you saw happening was it still releasing.
Yeah,
There were
it's been moving a lot.
there were depths to it that were beyond this physical.
So is that work complete for him? Is it going to still be going on for a while?
It will be an ongoing for many, many days.
How can he best help his body through that?
He does it all the time through unwindings that he does with the physical body all the time that we all learned to do over the many lifetimes. He was reminded of how to do it in his cranial sacral therapy classes. And every time he learns one of these types of modalities, he must always understand that he is not learning something new. He is simply remembering what he has always done.
Wow, perfect. Okay. Wow, good for him. Gosh, how often would you recommend that he listens to his recording to get the most benefit?
He can listen to it whenever he wishes, but it's not necessary simply because he was fully present during this whole thing, and the fact that he heard it all, he knows it, and it is also on the imprint. Anytime this is done and we are present, it is imprinted on his imprint.
Oh, cool. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
So the recording is simply to have.
Okay. Will he, sometimes after the sessions, they feel like they remember it all, but then it seems to fade like a dream. Will he have that experience, or will he really fully remember?
He will fully remember everything.
Perfect.
Even though I have no, he tried to sneak in. Even though we know that whenever he does listen to it, he will always probably hear something new.
Since he has recently learned how to do QHHT, I'm wondering, does Dolores have a message that they would like to, she would like to get through to him?
Do what you can. Do the best that you can. And that's all you can do. It won't be wrong, whatever you do. This is meant to be another tool for your tool belt. Treat it that way, and you will be fantastic with it.
And do you have a message you would like to give to him, a final message before I bring him back up?
Simply trust. Stop being stupid. We are always here, and this is readily available to you at any time. So, please don't be stupid. That's meant to be funny.
Yes.
He understands it, but he is not laughing so much because he knows he is and has been stupid a lot.
Well, that's part of the human experience.
Which is what he wanted, was this particular human experience. Because if all he did was come and do part his main purpose of simply being light, it would be boring.
He's definitely added some spicy parts to his life.
Yes, he has, and there are many more to come.
Okay.
But if he does them without being stupid, they will be enjoyable.
Okay. Gosh, all right. Well, it's been such a joy to assist him in this way. Thank you so much for helping everything fall into place.
Thank you. This would not have happened without your help. He has tried to do this with other practitioners, and it was not happening, which it was not supposed to do it with anyone other than you. So, thank you.
Can I ask why?
He would not have allowed this to happen with anyone other than someone who he deems to be the best. So, it had to be you.
Well, I love what I do. I'm grateful I could help.
You are very good at it. This is what you are supposed to be doing.
Feels like that. I love what I do. I'm so grateful to Dolores and send her so much love. Thank you.